Shalom, shalom, Israel, shalom. Glad to be out here doing the work of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. It's always an honor and a privilege to be presented the opportunity to do the work of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. It's always His grace and His willing for me to be out here to do the work. So with that, I'm going to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, Waha, Rakah, Kadash. And also, massive shout out to the brothers that are in the highways and byways pushing forth this truth and waking up the lost sheep of the house of Israel, letting them know that we are the Hebrew Israelites that the Bible talks about. We are the descendants of the people of the book, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, Latinos, and Native Americans. We are the true Hebrew Israelites. So massive shout out to the brothers out there pushing the work and doing it with true sincerity, with all their heart and might, and continue to do the works. And yeah, make Yahweh bless you, and yeah, keep the faith going and keep the works going. Your work will be your work's being praised, and Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai shall reward us for our work. So the brothers that are doing the work sincerely, massive shout out to everyone involved. And massive shout out to the sisters out there as well also, that obviously hearken on to the men of the Lord, that are doing their absolute best of their abilities to keep the law, statutes and commandments of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. So everyone that's playing a role, massive shout out to you. So the title of this video is going to be The True Nature of a Wicked Woman, okay? And it's important that I bring out this lesson because many men in this society don't know the true nature of a woman, especially a wicked woman, okay? Society has lied to us. Society have given a lot of men, a lot of people in general, have given us the impression that women are all perfect and women can't do no wrong. Women are angels. Women are perfect. That's what society have told us, but they've lied to us. And it's about time that men of the Lord in particular started exposing the true nature of a woman. And what you'll also come to find out is that the true nature of a woman, truthfully speaking, has been exposed as it is. Because you have many platforms, such as social media, whether it's Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, whatever, you have a lot of men exposing the true nature of a woman. Okay, and a lot of men are waking up to it, but you know, and it's a case where I also got to send a message as well, because more importantly, the true nature of a woman is all documented in the Bible. So with that, I'm going to use precepts and scriptures to completely back up the points that I'm making in regards to the true nature of a woman. Okay, because like I said, society have lied to us and told us that women are angels and women can't do no wrong. And that's why men get shit on a lot of the times, because men get absolutely obliterated for every mistake that we make. Okay? So, first precept I'm going to bring out is Proverbs, book of Proverbs. To start Proverbs chapter 6, starting at verse 22. Yeah. So it says, "When thou goest, it shall lead thee. When thou sleepest, it shall keep thee. And when thou awakest, it shall talk with thee." So this is Solomon talking about adhering to the law, statutes, and commandments. Should you abide by them, you shall be protected at all times. Okay? So that's just the base of it. So now, for the commandment is a lamp, and the law is light, and reproof or instruction are the way of life. Now this is where it gets interesting. Verse 24. To keep thee from the evil woman. Yes, there are women out there that are very evil. And a lot of men are oblivious to this. Okay? A lot of men are oblivious to this, because what Esau's done is completely hidden the true nature of a woman. Because Esau knows the true nature of a woman. That's why Esau puts women on a pedestal in society, puts women on the top, men at the bottom. And everything has to benefit the woman, because he knows men fall because of women. Great men are falling because of women. King David, King Solomon are falling because of women. Okay? So I'll start that again. So to keep thee from the evil woman, from the flattery of the tongue of a strange woman. Because yes, because women can be very, very deceitful. Okay? the way they speak, their beauty, the way they flirt with guys, they do all that stuff just to get what they want, to leverage control over men. That's how they manipulate men, because they know a lot of men lust after the beauty of a woman. So that's why women do that. They dress a certain way, they talk a certain way to guys just to get what they want, okay? So verse 25, lust not after her beauty in thine heart, neither let her take thee with her eyelids. Because this is the trap that a lot of men fall into. Because men, by nature, we're visual creatures. The first thing we notice in a woman is beauty. And women know this as well. So like I said, that's why they'll dress in a certain way. For example, they'll dress like a complete harlot, meaning as they say, ladies of the night, like strippers basically, because they know that men will turn heads for that. But that's what men do. They look at the first thing they acknowledge of a woman is their beauty. So women use that to manipulate guys. And that's why you have guys will take girls out on expensive dates. They'll break their backs, bend over backwards just to keep the woman satisfied. Because as far as certain men are concerned, all a woman has to do is look beautiful, look pretty, slap on a bit of makeup, and then her value's automatically at an all-time high. Okay? But it goes far beyond that. So, lust not after her beauty in thine heart, neither let her take thee with her eyelids. For by means of a whorish woman, a man is brought to a piece of bread, and the adulteress will hunt for the precious life. And this right here, what first comes to mind is King David. Because King David was obviously sitting on top of the throne. He was king of Israel when he took over King Saul. And King David was a great man. But then what caused him to fall is committing adultery with Bathsheba. And what's the first thing King David noticed? Was her beauty. Her beauty was too much for him. He couldn't handle it. In a sense where he couldn't refrain himself from committing adultery, taking another man's wife. Because that's what women can do. That's why the Bible says, do not be deceived of the beauty of a woman. Because that's what causes men to fall. Okay? Where was I? So then, yeah, that's what brought King David to the ground. And then King David had to repent as a result of falling, committing adultery. And the good thing about King David, he realized that he made a mistake. He realized that he messed up big time. And he had to pay a price for it as well. You know, and more importantly, he repented. And this is what us men need to think about as well. Like, this is why the scriptures are so important, because it lays out the nature of a woman. It lays out events that's occurred like in ancient times. And what's occurred in ancient times is what's occurring today. You know, men falling because of women. And not just because of women, not just women in general, but specifically the beauty of a woman. But that's what gets guys deceived. Because when guys see that a woman is so beautiful to look at, and let's say you have a specific type of woman as well. Like, I'll be honest, my type in a woman is thick legs, big bum, big breast and everything. The typical like Jamaican, the typical Jamaicans, what they like. Big bum, big breast, everything, thick legs. And in all honesty, that's what I like in a woman as well. And for a lot of guys that are quite gullible, they'll just look at that and think, yeah, you know what, I don't need to test what her heart is saying. I don't need to try her heart. Because she already looks good. Her value is already set. And I got to match her standards by being the perfect guy. And this is why a lot of guys simp for women. Strictly because of the beauty of it. And like I said earlier, you have guys taking women out on expensive dates just to please them. They're doing everything within their power just to keep the woman around. Even though she's useless. All she is a trophy wife. She looks good, but that's about it. She doesn't cook, she doesn't clean, she doesn't conduct herself how a woman is supposed to conduct herself. But then yet you still have guys breaking their necks just to keep the woman happy. And that's why the old saying comes into play. Happy wife, happy life. You know, because it's all about pleasing the woman. And this is why a lot of guys are depressed. And this is why a lot of relationships fall, because it's a one-way system. Men are doing all the work just to please the woman, but then it's that woman, for the woman, all she has to do is sit on her ass, she could smoke a cigar all day, and then she knows she got the guys wrapped around her little finger. But that's just the way it is. So verse 27. Can a man take fire in his bosom and his clothes not be burned? Verse 28. Can one go upon hot coals and his feet not be burned? Verse 29. So he that goeth into his neighbour's wife, whosoever toucheth her shall not be innocent. So when you're going onto your neighbour's wife, i.e. committing adultery with your brother's wife, you're not innocent from that point. And you will pay a price as well. So let me read on. Verse 30. Men do not despise a thief if he steal to satisfy his own. In fact, I'll jump down to verse 32. So Proverbs chapter 6 verse 32. But whosoever committeth adultery with a woman lacketh understanding. He that doeth it destroyeth his own soul. Again, perfect example. King David, he destroyed his own soul. Well, not to the point where he won't be in the kingdom of heaven, because his signature's already secured, but in the sense where he completely fallen, and you know, spiritually there was a period where he was completely crestfallen. And that's just solely for committing adultery. A wound and dishonor shall he get, and his reproach shall not be wiped away. For jealousy is the rage of a man, therefore he will not spare in the day of vengeance. He will not regard any ransom, neither will he rest content, though giveth many gifts. So certain guys need to understand that when you're taking another man's wife, you gotta understand that when you get caught by that guy, he ain't gonna spare you when he's full of rage and anger, because you gotta understand that guys are very prideful and passionate when it comes to women. And when he catches you in an act with his woman, he's in his mind, he ain't thinking logically, he's just thinking emotions. And if he's got a knife or a gun, you best believe he's gonna try and stab you or shoot you. And this is what women do as well, especially, for example, she got the beta male and then she got the alpha males. Notice I said alpha males because women these days like to deal with more than one guy, okay? And so she got the beta male simping for her, paying for her bills, paying for her food, all the rest of it. And then when he goes out to work all day, the Tyrones come into the house, you know, do the business. And when I say do the business, I mean basically conducting the action which makes babies. And obviously it's not rocket science to work out as to what I'm referring to, okay? And like I said, when he catches you in the act, you best, all I'm gonna say is it's gonna be a very, very long day for you when you're caught in the act with another man's woman. So this is why guys need to wake up and acknowledge what the true nature of a woman represents. And I'll quickly touch on it as well in further detail. Women are attracted to confident guys that are very bold, assertive, masculine, and dominant, okay? Women are not attracted to weak men that are unsure of themselves, not confident, cannot lead either. Women like a guy that can take control, okay? So you best believe that if you're one of these guys that a woman do not respect, she's gonna cheat on you. Because when a woman cheats on a man, more often than not, it's for emotional reasons, because she's not emotionally satisfied. And on top of that, you do not withhold the characteristics that a woman look for in a man, okay? And statistics completely back up the point that I'm making, because statistics show that women cheat more than men. And the reason why they cheat, because due to a lack of emotional unsatisfaction, okay? So this is why women are always seeking higher, okay? Women do not quote unquote date down, they quote unquote date up. So if she finds a man that can fulfill her needs, especially from an emotional standpoint, she's gonna cheat on you. And like I said, especially if you do not withhold certain characteristics that women by nature are attracted to, that men have, okay, or supposed to have, i.e. being confident, being bold, being assertive, being a leader, knowing how to direct. women are attracted to those type of men, okay? And this is what society does not teach men. They don't teach you that as a man, Salakia. Society don't teach you that that's what women are attracted to. And this is why a lot of relationships fail. And you gotta understand this as well. In this society, everything is a business. Okay? Everything's a business. And Esau knows this, because this is why when you get married to a woman, all the laws are in her favor. All the laws benefit a woman. When you get married, you gotta spend a fortune. You gotta spend a fortune for the dress, the wedding ring, to the church, to hire out the church hall and whatnot when they conduct the whole marriage ceremony. Okay, all of that money you're spending is going to Esau's pockets, and Esau as well knows it's easier to deceive a woman than it is to deceive a man. So what Esau does is he paints this Disney fairy tale in movies, and women latch onto it. Getting married, having about 5, 6, 7, 15, 20 kids, living in a mansion or living on top of the hill, with an overlooking sea and all the rest of it. That's the fantasy world. And a lot of women fall for it. Okay, a lot of women are deceived by it. So that's why a lot of women are so quickly in a rush to get married. Yeah, for that reason as well. But at the same time, women know the laws benefit them. And this is how you know a lot of men are incredibly, incredibly stupid, because given the fact that the laws benefit a woman, when a woman divorces you, she gets a financial reward. And it sounds crazy, okay? And a lot of men are still deciding to marry this woman. And again, Esau uses women as a vessel to completely destroy men. Because when a woman divorces you, she takes your home, she takes your children, she takes your home, she takes your money, she takes your children, and there's no law installed that prohibits a woman from doing so. She can take your kids halfway across the world, and then there's nothing you can do about it. There are no laws that prohibits her from doing such a thing. So this is why, as men, you need to be careful who you're breeding, who you're basically busting the nut inside of and impregnating. Because again, there's nothing that benefits us men. This is all used to benefit the woman, and that's why women are on top in this society, due to the help of Esau. Okay? Because put it this way, this is a case scenario. Let's say, for instance, I agree to meet a friend up at 1 p.m. on a Tuesday to go Brixton or whatever. Yeah. So I say, okay, yo, bro, I'm gonna meet you in Brixton 1 p.m. on a Tuesday, and then we agree to meet up. And then let's say, for instance, 8 a.m. that morning, on the day we're supposed to meet up, I turn around and say to him, oh, I can't make it because of X, Y, and Z. And then I get a £5 million reward for it. That sounds absolutely ludicrous. That sounds absolutely bizarre when you put it in that perspective. And that's exactly how marriage is, where you get married to a woman, and then yet if she divorces you, she gets a financial reward. That sounds mad. And this is why, again, a lot of women are so quick to get married, because at that point, a woman is in control. She has the complete authority. She's the man at that point. And then she could just basically tour you around. And this is what a lot of men need to realize this. But yeah, that's just a bit of game for certain guys that don't know what women look for in a man and the true nature of a woman. We'll go to Proverbs chapter 12. Okay, so this is the book of Proverbs, chapter 12, verse 4. And it reads, "A virtuous woman is a crown to her husband. A virtuous woman is a crown to her husband, but she that maketh ashamed is as rottenness in his bones." Okay? So a virtuous woman is a crown to a man, but a woman that's ashamed is that rottenness into a man's bones. Okay? And there's nothing worse than obviously having a woman that's just complete rottenness, where she cannot add any value to your life whatsoever. She compiles nothing but absolute utter misery. That's the type of woman you need to avoid. Because not only do I say it, King Solomon says it as well. I'm gonna go to, in fact, that's in Ecclesiasticus, but I'll go to that after. We'll go to verse 30 quickly. Sorry, chapter 30, verse 15, actually. It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 15 and verse 30. And it reads, the horse leech have 2 daughters, crying, give, give. There are 3 things that are never satisfied. Yeah, 4 things say not. It is enough. And that's just women for you. Women, a lot of women in this generation are like, give, give, give. You know, they want to take, 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 but they can't give, give, give. Give in return, you know. Women want it to be a one-way system where you have to do all the dog work and then she could just lay on her back and do nothing and expect nothing but great rewards. And what doesn't help is when you have a lot of simps breaking their backs, going out of their way to please the woman, because this just adds further to the problem. Okay? This adds further to the problem. And the more this keeps occurring, the more it's going to be desolate and the more men are going to suffer. So us men, we actually need to help ourselves and realize what truly is going on. And the sooner we work out that Esau is behind all this, the sooner we work out that Esau is behind all this and use the woman as the vessel, the quicker we come together and this whole madness just completely stops. Okay? I'm gonna jump down to verse 20. In fact, I'll touch on something before. I'll touch on something as well. That's why a lot of women, because they're so used to guys just, you know, completely pleasing them, yeah? When they have a lot of simps completely used to pleasing them, when they come across that one guy that holds them to a standard, they immediately get offended. And it's like, when they say, oh, I want a man to protect me, provide for me, whether it's emotional, physical, or financially, yeah, that's what they expect from a guy. And you gotta do all these things. You gotta be confident, you gotta be bold, you gotta be assertive, you gotta be making a certain amount of money. But then yet, when you say to a woman, oh, you need to dress appropriately, you need to dress modestly, okay? You need to cook, you need to clean. They get offended. They're like, oh, I'm not doing all that. You must be crazy if you think I'm submitting myself to a man. And what they don't realize is, as men, we don't ask for much. All we ask for is for submissiveness, which basically means being cooperative, okay? Being cooperative and feminine. And obviously dressing modestly, not dressing like a whore or a stripper. But a lot of women, like I said, they take offense to it because they're not used to being held to a standard. So when you're that guy that holds them to a standard, it's a shock to their system, you know? And immediately you are different. Whether it's for the right reasons or the wrong reasons remains to be seen. But let's be honest, more often than not, it's for the wrong reasons, because women don't like being held to a standard. They like to do what they want to do and not be held accountable for their actions or for their statements. That's why a lot of women can say certain things and do certain things and get away with the complete madness that they get away with. Okay? So anyways, so Proverbs chapter 30 and verse 20. Such is the way of an adulterous woman. She eateth and wipeth her mouth and saith, I have done no wickedness. So this goes back to women not taking responsibility, because that's what it boils down to. Women do not like taking responsibility whatsoever, okay? As far as they're concerned, they can't do anything wrong. They can say things, they can do things, and it's never their fault, okay? It's always the man's fault. That's why when relationships ends, it's the man's fault. If the sex is bad, it's the man's fault. When a baby's created, it's the man's fault. Oh, he should have pulled out, you know. But then again, not that I condone abortions, but at the same time, you decided to keep the baby. You decided to keep the baby. These so-called trash guys that you refer to as, you're so quick to hold their baby, okay, and bring them into life. And like I said, I don't believe in abortions, and no one should be aborting no babies. But I'm just simply making a point that women like to go around saying, oh, these guys are trash, these guys are this, these guys are that. But then yet you have no problem carrying their child. But then yet on the other hand, you don't want to marry them. So it doesn't make any sense, okay? And again, when they bring a so-called trash dude's baby into life, it wasn't her fault. It wasn't her fault. It's always a case, oh, the guy should have pulled out, the guy should have wore a condom, he should have done this, he should have done that. But then again, you decided to open your legs to her. Sorry, you decided to open your legs to him and keep his baby. So this is obviously an example that women don't like to hold themselves accountable. They're like little children. They don't like being blamed for anything. When they get blamed and held to a standard, they start throwing all the toys out the pram. You know, that's typically what a child does, and that's exactly what a woman does. Because a lot of these girls, a lot of these females are basically girls with just big breasts. That's just what it is. They're basically like girls in a woman's body, because a lot of the mindset for a lot of these females is very, very immature. It's extremely immature. And when I say these girls, I'm talking these girls are like 25, 26, 27, 28, 30 plus. They're acting like little children. And the reason for that is because, again, they don't take any responsibility. Neither do men hold them to a standard. That's why a lot of women are able to get away with a lot of things. Okay? So yeah, women don't like taking responsibility at all. So now, done with this, I'm gonna go to the Apocrypha. It's like you. The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 25, and verse 13, and it reads, this is King Solomon talking, give me any plague but the plagues of the heart, and any wickedness but the wickedness of a woman. Because King Solomon knows that the wickedness of a woman is just too daunting. Like, the wickedness of a woman is just, it's unbearable. Like, and you gotta understand that a lot of women, especially wicked women, by nature, they're very bitter. They're extremely bitter. So let's say, for instance, you have kids with a woman, and like I stated earlier, the laws benefit a woman. She could take your kids and there's nothing you can do about it. Until your children hit like 18, 19, well, until they hit 18 years old, that's when you have the license to see your children. But point of the matter is, let's say, for instance, you and a woman broke up, and then she might be like, you know, out of bitterness, you're not seeing your children, and then she's gonna take your children halfway across the world, and there's nothing you can do about it, and that's just solely out of bitterness. So, and bearing in mind as well, when you're not, as a man, especially when you want to be in your children's lives, if she's stopping you from seeing the children, that's gonna cause you to be depressed, very isolated in your own mind. You know, it's going to affect your spiritual growth with the Most High, because you're just thinking about your children, you know. And a lot of things like this causes men to commit suicide as well. That's what people need to realize, but people just don't care. And especially women, especially the wicked ones, they don't care if it's causing you a lot of trauma and depression. They don't care at all. They're just concerned about their own satisfaction. They just care about satisfying their own selves. And that's unfortunately the problem that we have. So yeah, the wickedness of a woman is something that you desperately want to avoid, because it's very, very bad. Because women that are bitter will hold a lot of leverage over you. And it's sad that a lot of men can't see their children because of how bitter their woman is, or the mother of their children. So I'm gonna go to So it's the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 26, and starting at verse 7, and it reads, "An evil wife is a yoke of shaken to and fro. He that hold of her is as though he held a scorpion." So imagine King Solomon saying an evil wife, withholding an evil wife, when you attain an evil wife, is as if you're with a scorpion. Because King Solomon had over 1,000 women in his lifetime. 700 wives, 300 concubines, meaning second wife, in case anyone doesn't know what that means. Okay? And yeah, he's saying that the wickedness of a woman is so bad that is as if you're with a scorpion. Now that's a statement in itself. So this is why we need to be aware of the nature of a woman. Because like I said at the start of this video, Esau and society have lied to us. Because we all grew up thinking that women were the prize. Women are the ultimate value. We gotta improve ourselves and be the best versions of ourselves to get with them. We will be lucky to get with them. But as they say, there are two sides to a story, and there are two sides on a coin. You got heads, tails, and and all Esau does is give us a tail. Because that's all Esau's been doing. He's been telling a lot of tales, telling a lot of lies. Okay? And now it's our job as men of the Lord to expose the nature of a woman. So, this is why we need to read and study who we're dealing with. Okay? So it says, "A drunken woman and a gadder abroad cause of great anger, and she will not cover her own shame." Go back to what I said in goes back to what Proverbs chapter 30 verse 20 says. When a woman eateth or wipeth her mouth, is as if she done no wickedness. And yeah, a drunken woman and a gadder abroad cause of great anger. Because that's what women do, especially the wicked ones. They cause nothing but great anger and wrath in a man. Okay? That's why you have certain guys turn around and say, "Oh, you know what? I'd rather be at football. I'd rather be in the gym because being at home with the missus is headache. It's just long. That's not what I want to be dealing with." So that's why a lot of guys tend to partake in different activities of sports for different reasons. And one of the reasons is because they want to get away from the missus. Because funny enough, that reminds me, because I play Sunday football, and one of my teammates says one of the reasons why he's so quick to come out and play football with his mates, yeah, is because he just wants to get away from his missus, because she causes just too much headache at times. So that's your proof right there, okay? So they cause nothing but great anger, and yeah, and she will not cover her own shame, okay? They won't cover her own shame. Because as far as women are concerned, they're shameless. They can't do no wrong. And don't get me wrong, you have certain women out there that they know that they're actually full of shame. And they'll happily say it with their chest as well. They know what they are, they know that they're harlots, and they'll happily admit it. Okay? So, verse 9. "The whoredom of a woman may be known in her haughty looks and eyelids." Okay, so that goes back to being a promiscuous woman, or identifying a promiscuous woman. Because, like I said, when you have a woman that dresses a certain way, a woman that likes to show her breasts, show her legs, show her cheeks as well, and I'm not talking face cheeks either, yeah? That's how you can identify a whorish woman, especially when they wear like long eyelashes as well. Part of the seductive tactics as well, to leverage control over men and manipulate men to get what they want. And those women are smart as well, because they know sex is in a man's nature, and men will do things just to get sex. So, like I said, they'll dress seductively, they'll talk in a seductive tone and manner, make it seem like, yeah, you know what, I'm gonna give you some sex, I'm gonna give you the box, okay, I'm gonna give you the cat, as they say. And those guys are gullible enough to not realize that they're being manipulated. And that's how a woman gets control. And they're able to wrap the man around the little finger. And obviously this is nothing but an extreme common theme as well. So yeah, that's how you identify a whorish woman, for the most part anyways. I'm gonna jump down to verse 22 of Ecclesiasticus chapter 26, and it reads, "And harlot shall be accounted as spittle." And so a whore should be counted as spit, because they're worthless, okay? And this is what men of the Lord need to avoid, these type of women. Men in general, but specifically men of the Lord, especially ones that are trying to, or try to establish a spiritual growth with Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. So they be counted as spittle, but a married woman is a tower against death to her husband. So those are the righteous women, okay? The women that are very right, the women that are righteous, and the women that are, conduct themselves as to how a woman should conduct herself. Verse 23, "A wicked woman is given as a portion to a wicked man, but a godly woman is given to him that feareth the Lord." So it kind of goes hand in hand, where a wicked woman will end up with a wicked man. So this is why, as a man, when you're wicked and you're trapped in a wicked woman, these are the consequences that you sustain. So this is why you need to get yourself right. And this is why you need to put Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai first, so you can completely escape from these wicked females that are going to cause nothing but misery and trauma to your life. Okay? So a man that feareth the Lord, chances are the Most High is going to give you a righteous woman. And it even says that in Proverbs, can't remember where exactly, but roughly paraphrasing, it says that the Most High will give a man, what did it say again? A righteous man will get basically a virtuous woman. But I can't remember where from the top of my head where that scripture is. I'll try to find it later on. So, verse 24, "A dishonest woman contemneth shame, but an honest woman will reverence her husband." So you have a woman that are very meek woman, and a very humble woman will reverence her husband. So during times of trouble, during time of need, a good woman will stand by her man's side and support him in every way possible. Okay? Verse 25, "A shameless woman shall be counted as a dog, but that's powerful, let me take that from the top. So verse 25 of Ecclesiasticus chapter 26, "A shameless woman shall be counted as a dog, but she that is shamefaced will fear the Lord." Okay, a shameless woman will be counted as a dog. Okay? In other words, a bitch. That's what a shameless woman is, a bitch. Not that I'm saying it, this is what the scriptures are saying. Okay? Don't shoot the messenger, because that's all I am. Okay? But she that is shamefaced will fear the Lord. So a woman that, again, are meek and humble by nature, they will fear the Lord. They will know what the Most High is about. And they know that the Most High will judge her based on her deeds, based on her works, based on how she conducts herself as a woman. So for those women that obviously, are very meek, all praises to you. Okay? And yeah. So for the females out there, because one thing I'll make very clear as well, this is directed for the women that are wicked and not conducting themselves in a good manner. So for any woman that might be listening to this, if you know this doesn't fit your description, you do not need to get offended. Because this is aimed for the females that are wicked and doing wicked things. Okay? Being harlots, being whores, being prostitutes and all the rest of it. But yeah, that's pretty much it on this. And in fact, I'll say one more thing as well before I close out, because King Solomon said it as well. I believe it's in Proverbs chapter 21 verse 9, where it says, roughly paraphrasing, it's better to dwell on the housetop of a roof, yeah, better to dwell on the housetops than it is to be inside a house with an angry woman. Because, you know, angry women, they're just very emotional and very and they're just too erratic and very irrational. And they make a lot of irrational, they make a lot of irrational actions and irrational decisions as well. So King Solomon knows what he's talking about when it comes to the nature of a woman. Because like I said, he's had over 1,000 women in his lifetime. So he will obviously know, you know, what type of woman to deal with and what woman to stay away from. Because even so, there's a scripture in Ecclesiastes where it says, you know, the sinner, roughly paraphrasing, the sinners will basically attract the wicked woman, where the man that are walking in the way of righteousness will obviously escape her. They'll escape the wickedness of a bad woman. Or escape the wickedness of a woman, basically. Okay, I think that's in somewhere in Ecclesiastes chapter 9. I can't remember where exactly, but just roughly paraphrasing, but I know it's in the scripture somewhere. Just didn't have it noted down. But with that, Israel, hopefully the lesson was edifying. Hopefully you would have learned what the true nature of a woman withholds. You know, hopefully this has opened your eyes, made you think about how you're going to approach certain females and how you'll conduct yourselves with a woman and how you'll make her conduct herself towards you and make her know that you're this no-nonsense type guy. Okay? Yeah, so hopefully you're edified. Hopefully the information presented to you was presented in a manner which will be suitable for you to understand and be edified. And hopefully, you know, once you receive this message, you can spread this word as well and make other guys realize what the true nature of a woman withholds, especially a wicked woman. Okay? So with that, Israel, I'm going to close out and give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh, Baal Shem, Yahushai, Waha, Rakah, Kadash, Kum Yasharallah. Shalom, Israel. Peace out.